When we explore Stoicism, we're diving into a mindset that emphasizes composure, balance, and resilience. The Stoics were remarkably insightful about navigating the chaos of life, and they showed us how to maintain our equilibrium, even in the face of adversity. They weren't about escaping challenges. Instead, they leaned into life's difficulties, viewing them as essential elements for building inner strength. Stoic wisdom invites us to step back from our initial reactions, pause, and approach life with a measured, calm, and composed mindset. The journey toward a calm mind isn't one of avoidance or denial, but of understanding, embracing, and accepting what we can and cannot control. One of the first lessons in cultivating this mindset is embracing the concept of acceptance. Life will inevitably present us with trials, losses, and setbacks. Stoics like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius reminded us that peace comes from differentiating between what we can control and what we cannot. Think about the power of that. If something is within our control, we can take steps to address it. If it's not, we free ourselves from needless worry by letting it go. When we release the urge to manipulate every outcome, our minds find a natural state of calm. It's a bit like being in the middle of a storm, but realizing that while you can't stop the storm, you can find shelter within yourself. Another powerful Stoic insight involves taming our desires and emotions. The Stoics didn't believe we should suppress our emotions, but rather that we should work to understand and direct them. For example, anger is often seen as a fire that burns within, blinding us to reason and peace. By observing our emotions with a detached curiosity, we take their power away. Instead of being swept up by anger, jealousy, or impatience, we acknowledge them, then let them pass. Seneca often spoke about how unchecked emotions can distort our perspective, leading us away from calm and into chaos. By becoming mindful of our inner reactions, we develop an emotional resilience that allows us to approach life with patience and poise. Then there's the practice of focusing on the present moment. In our daily lives, our minds frequently wander to past regrets or future anxieties. The Stoics understood this tendency and advised us to ground ourselves in the present. After all, the present moment is the only place where we truly have agency. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations about the importance of living each day as if it were our last. Not in a morbid sense, but as a reminder to cherish what's in front of us. By anchoring ourselves in the now, we prevent our minds from being pulled in 1,000 directions, allowing us to face each moment with clarity and composure. The Stoics also taught that setbacks are opportunities for growth. Imagine the kind of mental resilience it takes to look at a problem not as an obstacle, but as a stepping stone. Stoicism invites us to transform difficulties into lessons, to see every setback as a chance to build endurance and strength. When life gets challenging, the Stoic mindset doesn't crumble. Instead, it leans into these moments, viewing them as a forge for character. Marcus Aurelius phrased it perfectly: the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In this view, we don't shrink from obstacles, but use them as catalysts for becoming more adaptable and composed. Patience, too, plays a central role in the Stoic path to a calm mind. In our fast-paced world, we often feel an urgent need for quick solutions and immediate results. However, Stoicism reminds us that life unfolds in its own time. Patience becomes a profound tool for managing both our inner world and our interactions with others. Seneca emphasized that a calm mind can withstand delays, difficulties, and discomforts without becoming perturbed. When we allow things to unfold naturally, without forcing or rushing, we tap into a deep well of inner tranquility. The art of patience, especially in the face of uncertainty, gives us the strength to endure without feeling overwhelmed. Another lesson lies in humility and accepting our limitations. The Stoics knew that much of our distress comes from ego. from the belief that things should go our way, that we deserve certain outcomes, or that we are somehow immune to life's hardships. By recognizing our place in the grander scheme of things, we cultivate a grounded perspective. Epictetus famously reminded us to not expect the universe to conform to our desires, but to adjust our expectations to fit reality. This shift humbles us, allowing us to approach life with a balanced mindset, free from the distortions of entitlement and unrealistic demands. Letting go of attachment to outcomes is also a key to Stoic calm. Often, we feel stress because we are overly invested in specific results. We want events to turn out exactly as we envision them, and when they don't, we suffer. Stoicism teaches us to give our best to any endeavor without clinging to the end result. By detaching from outcomes, we free ourselves from anxiety. This doesn't mean apathy. Rather, it means we are fully engaged in our efforts, but accept whatever comes with grace. This perspective allows us to navigate both success and failure without being thrown off balance. A critical aspect of Stoicism is cultivating gratitude, even for the small, everyday things we often overlook. The Stoics understood that gratitude centers the mind. When we take a moment to appreciate what we have, we become more aware of life's richness, reducing our tendency to compare ourselves to others or fixate on what we lack. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the simple gifts of life: the morning light, companionship, and health. This practice of daily gratitude roots us in a positive state of mind, allowing us to face challenges with an inner abundance rather than scarcity. Stoicism also encourages us to be mindful of our judgments. We often label events as good or bad based on how they impact us. However, Stoics argue that these judgments are often subjective and fleeting. Something we label as bad in the moment may turn out to be a blessing in disguise, while something we deem good may have unintended downsides. By observing life without rushing to label every event, we foster a calm and balanced perspective. Instead of reacting, we give ourselves space to respond thoughtfully, maintaining our inner calm amidst life's fluctuations. Lastly, the Stoics encourage us to cultivate a sense of purpose that transcends personal gain. They believed that living in alignment with our values and contributing to the well-being of others brings us profound inner peace. This shift from self-centered desires to a focus on service broadens our perspective and relieves us from the constant need for validation and approval. When we work towards something greater than ourselves, our worries and fears diminish, and we find a steady, calm place within. This perspective of purpose elevates us, allowing us to face life with an unshakable sense of calm, regardless of external circumstances. Through these practices, Stoicism gifts us the tools to approach life with grace, steadiness, and deep-rooted calm. Each lesson acts like a stepping stone, guiding us toward a mindset that, while grounded in reality, transcends the turmoil of everyday life. With practice, these principles gradually shape us into individuals who remain calm and composed, no matter what challenges come our way. When we continue on this journey of Stoic practice, we find that every moment becomes an opportunity to exercise the calm and composed mindset we're working to develop. Stoicism isn't about waiting for the perfect set of circumstances to feel calm. It's about cultivating calm within ourselves so that, regardless of what happens externally, we can stay balanced and centered. This continuous effort isn't a burden, but rather a gradual transformation in how we respond to life. Each time we apply these lessons, we're training our minds just as we would train a muscle. We're rewiring our responses to align more closely with our values and goals, rather than with temporary impulses or fears. One of the subtler but profound practices in Stoicism is the art of inner dialogue. Stoics often spoke of having a mental conversation with themselves, especially during moments of tension or doubt. Instead of reacting instinctively, they would pause and ask themselves questions like, "Is this within my control? How can I respond with virtue?" This inner dialogue acts as a checkpoint, helping us step out of reaction mode and into a more intentional response. By developing this habit, we create a buffer between the event and our reaction, a mental space that allows us to choose composure over chaos. Over time, this practice becomes second nature, guiding us to remain composed even when life throws its hardest challenges our way. Another layer of the Stoic mindset involves a commitment to continuous self-improvement. The Stoics saw life as a series of opportunities for growth, not as a static journey where one simply arrives at a state of calm and stays there. Instead, they believed in a kind of progressive calm, where each experience, each trial, and each failure teaches us something valuable about ourselves. By embracing a growth-oriented perspective, we stop fearing mistakes and instead view them as essential to our development. This is a powerful shift because it helps us approach challenges with curiosity and openness rather than dread. Every situation, whether pleasant or difficult, becomes a stepping stone toward a more refined and resilient self. Forgiveness is another key element that the Stoics advocated for in the journey toward a calm and composed mind. Holding on to grudges or harboring resentment can be a heavy burden, one that disrupts our inner peace. The Stoics encouraged us to forgive not necessarily for the sake of the other person, but for our own mental and emotional freedom. By releasing the weight of past grievances, we make room for tranquility. Seneca, for instance, would remind himself that human beings are fallible and prone to mistakes, including himself. When we see others' faults as reflections of our own potential missteps, it becomes easier to let go and embrace forgiveness. This release unburdens our minds, creating space for calmness to flourish. The Stoics also placed great value on the idea of temperance or moderation in all things. They recognized that excess, whether in pleasure, ambition, or even work, often leads to a loss of balance. Temperance isn't about denial, but about mindful moderation, about knowing when to say enough. By practicing temperance, we protect our minds from the instability that comes with overindulgence. It teaches us to savor the present moment without clinging to it, to enjoy life's pleasures without letting them control us. In a world where we're constantly encouraged to consume, achieve, and want more, temperance stands as a pillar of inner peace, reminding us that true satisfaction lies not in abundance, but in balance. Another practical Stoic lesson is to seek wisdom through self-reflection. The Stoics encouraged the practice of daily reflection, where one takes a moment at the end of each day to review their actions, thoughts, and behaviors. This is a simple yet transformative habit that brings immense clarity to our lives. By looking back, we gain insight into what went well and where we could improve. This isn't about self-criticism. Rather, it's about self-understanding and growth. When we reflect honestly, we develop a calm confidence, knowing that each day we're making small steps toward becoming a better, wiser version of ourselves. It's a powerful ritual that anchors our minds, helping us remain composed as we navigate the complexities of life. Additionally, Stoicism teaches us the importance of maintaining a broader perspective. Often, we get caught up in small inconveniences or momentary frustrations, allowing them to disrupt our peace. But the Stoics remind us to step back and look at the bigger picture. They often spoke of seeing life from a cosmic perspective, recognizing how brief and interconnected our existence is. This perspective helps put our problems into context, reminding us that many of the things we worry about are insignificant in the grand scheme of things. When we adopt this wide-angle view, our minds naturally settle into a state of calm as we realize that many of our concerns are fleeting and that peace is found in focusing on what truly matters. Stoicism also urges us to be mindful of our associations, choosing to surround ourselves with those who elevate and inspire us. The people we spend time with influence our thoughts, behaviors, and overall outlook on life. Marcus Aurelius warned against spending too much time with those who drain our energy or disturb our peace. By choosing our company wisely, we create an environment that nurtures our calm and composure rather than challenges it. This doesn't mean avoiding all conflict, but rather seeking out those whose values and demeanor align with our own goals of tranquility and balance. A Stoic mindset emphasizes the importance of compassion toward oneself. Often we're our own harshest critics, judging ourselves more severely than we would judge others. Stoicism reminds us that being calm and composed isn't about striving for perfection. It's about being patient with ourselves, accepting our imperfections, and treating ourselves with the same kindness we would offer a friend. This self-compassion allows us to approach our own journey with gentleness, which in turn helps us remain resilient when things don't go as planned. When we show ourselves compassion, we create a foundation of calm that no external challenge can easily shake. In practicing these principles daily, we move closer to embodying a mind that remains unshaken, grounded, and at peace, regardless of external circumstances. Stoicism doesn't promise a life free from difficulty, but offers us the tools to approach life's inevitable trials with a strength that transcends the momentary storms, guiding us toward a state of enduring calm and inner harmony. Continuing further, one of the most remarkable aspects of Stoicism is its invitation to embrace simplicity. The Stoics believed that much of our inner turmoil comes from an excess of desire, ambition, and attachment. In our modern world, we're constantly bombarded with messages telling us to acquire more, achieve more, and be more. But the Stoic mindset offers a refreshingly different approach: simplicity. By focusing on what we truly need rather than what we want, we clear away the mental clutter that often keeps us from feeling at peace. This isn't about minimalism for its own sake. It's about recognizing that the pursuit of too many things can fragment our attention and disrupt our balance. When we simplify our lives and prioritize what genuinely brings us value, we find that calmness comes naturally, as we're no longer burdened by unnecessary wants or distractions. The Stoics also practiced what we might call mental rehearsal to prepare for life's uncertainties. They engaged in a technique called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. This wasn't about pessimism or expecting the worst. Rather, it was a mental exercise in resilience. The Stoics would imagine different possible challenges or losses, picturing how they might respond if these events were to happen. By rehearsing these scenarios in their minds, they made themselves mentally prepared for adversity. In today's terms, this might mean mentally preparing ourselves for setbacks at work, personal struggles, or unexpected news. Instead of being caught off guard by life's difficulties, we face them with a prepared, steady heart, knowing that we've thought through our responses in advance. This practice reduces anxiety as we're no longer fearing the unknown, but are instead grounded in our capacity to handle whatever comes. Another invaluable Stoic principle is the recognition of impermanence. Everything in life, our relationships, possessions, and even our own existence, is temporary. By contemplating impermanence, the Stoics developed a deep appreciation for what they had while also reducing their fear of loss. They understood that clinging too tightly to anything, even the things we love, can create suffering. Epictetus taught that we should cherish people and things as if they are on loan from the universe. This mindset doesn't make us indifferent, but allows us to enjoy the present moment fully without being overwhelmed by the fear of losing it. When we truly internalize impermanence, we unlock a profound calm, a peaceful acceptance that everything in life has its time and place, and that letting go is often an act of strength, not weakness. Stoicism also encourages us to develop a strong sense of autonomy. One of the most freeing Stoic insights is the idea that while we cannot control external events, we have full control over our responses to those events. This idea of inner sovereignty empowers us to face any situation with dignity and calm, knowing that our responses are within our command. In a world where we often feel at the mercy of external forces, this reminder of our inner power is transformative. It teaches us that no matter what others do, what circumstances arise, or what unexpected turns life takes, we always retain the choice of how to react. This inner sovereignty forms a solid foundation for a calm and composed mind, as it frees us from feeling like victims of circumstance and reminds us that our true power lies within. A Stoic approach to life also involves cultivating a state of equanimity or mental calmness, regardless of pleasure or pain. The Stoics encouraged a mindset that remains steady, neither overly elated by good fortune nor crushed by misfortune. This even-mindedness is rooted in the understanding that life will naturally oscillate between highs and lows. By accepting this rhythm, we become less dependent on external validation or circumstances for our happiness. When something positive happens, we embrace it with gratitude, yet we avoid attaching our entire sense of self-worth to it. When challenges arise, we recognize them as temporary and refuse to let them undermine our inner peace. Practicing equanimity allows us to move through life's fluctuations with grace, keeping our inner state consistent, calm, and resilient. The Stoics were also big proponents of focusing on personal virtue as a guiding principle. They believed that living a good life didn't depend on wealth, status, or fame, but on cultivating virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and self-discipline. When we align our actions with these virtues, we find a deep sense of satisfaction that goes beyond fleeting pleasures. Pursuing virtue brings a calm, unshakable joy that's not dependent on external achievements or recognition. By making virtue our primary aim, we redirect our focus from the temporary to the timeless, and this naturally fosters a composed and serene mindset. When we face moral dilemmas or tough decisions, we can ask ourselves, what would a virtuous person do in this situation? This grounding in virtue provides clarity and confidence, reducing the internal conflict that often comes with making difficult choices. Self-discipline, in particular, is a pillar of the Stoic approach to a calm mind. Discipline isn't about restriction, it's about creating structure and intention in our actions. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes not from indulging every desire, but from mastering ourselves. By practicing self-discipline, we build resilience and character, and our minds become less chaotic as a result. Imagine the inner calm that comes from knowing you're in control of your impulses, rather than being controlled by them. When we exercise discipline in our thoughts, actions, and reactions, we foster an inner stability that's difficult to shake. It's this mastery over oneself, rather than over external circumstances, that brings true peace. Another profound Stoic insight involves the value of accepting one's fate, a concept they referred to as amor fati, or the love of fate. The Stoics didn't just tolerate what happened to them, they actively embraced it, believing that every event, whether perceived as good or bad, was an essential part of their personal journey. By accepting everything as it comes, we align ourselves with the natural flow of life rather than resisting it. This acceptance doesn't mean passivity, rather it's a deep trust in the unfolding of events. When we learn to love our fate, even the challenges, we free ourselves from the mental friction of wishing things were different. We begin to see life's events as integral parts of our growth and development. And this mindset brings a profound sense of calm as we no longer feel at odds with reality. In Stoicism, there's also a great emphasis on compassion and kindness toward others. The Stoics understood that a calm and composed mind is a generous one, untroubled by resentment or rivalry. Marcus Aurelius, in his writings, reminded himself daily that he would encounter difficult people, but he also reminded himself to meet them with patience and understanding. The Stoics believed that we're all part of a greater human family, and that kindness toward others ultimately fosters inner peace. By approaching others with empathy and a willingness to forgive, we liberate ourselves from the bitterness that often disrupts our calm. Compassion creates a ripple effect, transforming our relationships and making our internal world a place of peace and goodwill. The Stoics also advocated for a life of purpose and meaning. They believed that each person has a unique role in the world and that fulfilling this purpose brings a deep sense of satisfaction and calm. When we live with purpose, our actions are driven by intention rather than impulse, and our minds become anchored in a sense of direction. We're no longer adrift, chasing temporary pleasures or fleeting goals, but are instead guided by something meaningful and enduring. This sense of purpose doesn't have to be grand. It can be as simple as dedicating ourselves to helping others, learning, or improving ourselves. What matters is that we have a guiding star, a reason for our actions that transcends mere self-interest. Living with purpose aligns us with our true values and fosters an inner calm that remains steady amidst life's ups and downs. Each of these practices and insights, when embraced fully, leads us to a calm and composed mindset that not only withstands the storms of life, but thrives in them. By integrating these Stoic principles into our daily lives, we create a mental sanctuary that remains untouched by external chaos, a space of peace, strength, and clarity. This sanctuary is not built in a day but cultivated over time, with patience and persistence. The Stoic path is a journey, one that invites us to grow, learn, and continuously refine our approach to life, ultimately leading us to a state of unwavering calm and inner harmony. As we deepen our practice of Stoic principles, we start to notice a transformation not only in our reactions, but in our perception of the world around us. The Stoic journey is not about rejecting emotions or becoming indifferent to life's experiences. Rather, it's about creating a mental space that allows us to feel, observe, and respond without losing our inner stability. This transformation helps us find freedom from the mental traps that often cloud our thinking, such as over-attachment, fear, or regret. Through Stoicism, we learn to perceive challenges as chances to exercise our virtues, allowing us to face even life's difficulties with a calm and confident heart. A central aspect of this mindset involves practicing gratitude in a way that goes beyond simple appreciation. For the Stoics, gratitude wasn't reserved only for obvious blessings. It was a perspective applied to all experiences. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on how even his trials offered lessons and opportunities for growth. This mindset invites us to adopt an all-encompassing gratitude, where we see every moment, including the painful or uncomfortable ones, as part of our journey. By choosing to be grateful for the entirety of our experience, we reduce the feeling of resistance that can often accompany hardship. Instead, we welcome each day with a balanced heart, knowing that every experience contributes to our growth, bringing us closer to a composed and resilient mind. Stoic philosophy also teaches the importance of cultivating inner silence, or what might be thought of as mental stillness. In a world filled with constant noise, distractions, and opinions, finding this inner quiet is increasingly rare but profoundly calming. The Stoics understood that much of our inner disturbance comes from an excess of external input, the opinions of others, the pull of the news cycle, or the endless to-do list. By creating intentional moments of silence each day, we carve out a space where we can reconnect with ourselves. This silence acts as a refuge, a mental sanctuary that we can return to whenever life feels overwhelming. It's within this quiet space that we can reflect, recharge, and regain our sense of calm. Building a practice of silence helps us create a deeper connection with our own thoughts, reducing the influence of external stressors and allowing us to live with a more composed state of mind. Another powerful Stoic practice is the deliberate examination of our thoughts. In Stoicism, we are encouraged to question and scrutinize our assumptions. So often, we take our initial thoughts and reactions as truth. But Stoicism invites us to pause and ask, is this reaction aligned with my values? Does this belief serve my well-being? Through this practice of examination, we become more aware of the patterns that lead us toward inner conflict. Over time, we learn to catch these unhelpful thoughts before they can take root, replacing them with perspectives that foster calmness and clarity. By cultivating a disciplined mind, one that chooses responses over reactions, we develop the capacity to face life with confidence and calm, unshaken by transient thoughts or impulses. Stoic philosophy also places emphasis on building resilience through voluntary discomfort. The Stoics practiced exposing themselves to minor hardships, like fasting, cold exposure, or giving up certain comforts to develop their resilience. They believed that by willingly facing discomfort, we prepare ourselves to handle life's unexpected challenges with greater ease. This practice isn't about self-punishment, but about learning to thrive, even in less than ideal conditions. When we get comfortable with discomfort, we become less reactive to sudden changes in our environment, maintaining our calm and poise, even in adversity. It teaches us that our peace isn't dependent on external comforts or favorable conditions, but is rooted in our own capacity to endure and adapt. In addition, Stoicism teaches us the value of serving others and considering the well-being of those around us. By extending our perspective beyond our own personal concerns, we find a sense of purpose that alleviates much of the anxiety that comes with self-focused thinking. Stoics believe that we are all interconnected, part of a larger human family, and that by acting with kindness and compassion, we cultivate inner peace. When we shift our attention toward uplifting others, we free ourselves from the narrow lens of self-interest, which often breeds dissatisfaction and restlessness. By contributing to the common good, we find a meaningful calm that is not easily disturbed by life's smaller annoyances. It reminds us that true peace is not found in isolation, but in connection, in being part of something greater than ourselves. A core Stoic belief is in the power of persistence. Stoics understood that the journey to a composed and resilient mind is not achieved in a single step, but through steady, continuous effort. Each day, we're given opportunities to practice patience, to exercise self-discipline, and to refine our responses. Stoicism encourages us to see our personal growth as a lifelong endeavor. There will be days when we stumble, when our calmness wavers, but the Stoic path reminds us that persistence, even through these setbacks, is itself a virtue. By committing to this practice, day after day, we cultivate a strength that is unwavering, a calm that endures. In this journey of persistence, we come to realize that each effort, no matter how small, builds upon the last, guiding us ever closer to the calm and composed mindset that Stoicism promises. This calm isn't merely a state of relaxation or a fleeting moment of peace. It's a steady foundation that allows us to navigate life with a balanced heart and a clear mind. It's the kind of calm that remains, rooted in resilience, purpose, and compassion, and it becomes our greatest strength, allowing us to face whatever life presents with courage and unwavering composure. Through these Stoic practices, we aren't merely learning how to calm the mind. We're crafting a way of life that embodies peace, purpose, and inner harmony. This way of living invites us to be fully present in each moment, resilient in every challenge, and compassionate toward both ourselves and others, finding calm not just in solitude, but in the act of living fully and intentionally. In embracing these Stoic principles, we're not just cultivating a calm mind, we're transforming our entire approach to life. By practicing gratitude, simplicity, resilience, and compassion, we build a mindset that remains steady and composed, even in the face of challenges. This calm foundation becomes our strength, guiding us to respond thoughtfully, find meaning in our actions, and maintain inner peace, regardless of circumstances. Each of these practices, when woven into our daily lives, allows us to live fully, purposefully, and with a deep sense of harmony. If this journey towards a calm and composed mindset resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe to help bring more Stoic wisdom into your life and the lives of others. Together, let's create a world of resilience, strength, and peace, one mindful practice at a time.